in step back Harden for Thunder.
Down the lane for the throwdown.
Audio Jungle.
You got dynamic duos all over the place as opposed to triple threats. This is a dynamic duo that can rival anybody's dynamic duo in the NBA. I love it.
This is fantastic, but also for a level of superstar power in Houston. So they're not far off. They didn't have to give up a lot in this deal to acquire Russell. They got more salary. They got another year, but they still kept Eric Gordon. He's still on their squad. They still have Tucker. They still have Capella. So the core group of their team is returning. They're going to be one of the top teams in the Western Conference. Because when you look down at the faces for the road team, you can look at Kevin Durant, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Victor Oladipo, a picture of Serge Ibaka hold the championship trophy. Like, they've done a lot to help aid some teams across the league. If the Clippers are calling me and giving me a 24 to 48 hour window to trade Paul George, I don't know if I'm necessarily getting it done that fast. And I know they were able to accomplish it. And we're going to look at all of the players that they were able to acquire. And first-round picks are great, but late first-round picks aren't necessarily the best. In the last 4 years of the draft, there hasn't been a guy taken 25 or later making all-star team. So while Sam Presti did a terrific job of acquiring these assets, and we're going to talk about how many picks they have until 2016. Maybe he and Billy Donovan know something I don't know, but will they still be there at that point in time to actually draft the team?
Let me tell you something right now. I want to make sure that I'm very, very clear in what I'm about to say. If I were the owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm not firing Sam Presti. Sam Presti is a damn good executive. He's a tremendous talent evaluator. They've done great with drafts, etc. There's no knock against him. But I have said this, and I said this to somebody last night in Oklahoma City, and I'm going to say it here on national television. If this were any other executive that had Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Victor Oladipo. I mean, you look at the talent that they've had, and not one single NBA championship to point to. We're going to ask some questions about that executive. And it's time that we do that about Sam Presti, because here's the reality of the situation. Again, damn good at what he does, doesn't deserve to lose his job. He definitely accumulated picks or whatever. But I'll tell you something to point to your point, Jalen. Guess what? What's the chances if I ask Jalen Rose right now to sit there with all of these picks? Jalen, what is the chances that they're going to find a Kevin Durant or a Russell Westbrook with all of these picks?
Less than 5%.
Who's betting their money on that?
Less than 5%. And if you look back at all of those draft picks, Stephen, the last guy that they picked that was an actual all-star is Russell Westbrook. Yeah. And he committed to be there. He recruited Paul George to stay there, and then a week later, you end up trading both of those players. I really believe what this is the Oklahoma City Thunder looking at their roster saying, while we do have talent, and along with Steven Adams as well, who possibly is going to get moved, we don't feel like we're the favorite. So why pay luxury tax? That's what I see happen in OKC. Well, that happened with James Harden. That's how he initially got away.
Jalen. For $4 million with
yes,
James. Remember, let me interrupt. Just so the audience is clear, with James Harden, it wasn't even $4 million a year. It was $4 million. A grand total of $4 million they didn't want to pay, and that's why they ended up moving James Harden.
And so when you have that level of talent in a small market, the goal is to acquire players while they're under contract and or draft really well and try to get those guys to sign. They were actually able to accomplish both. So if you can't get Paul George and Russell Westbrook to run it back against a team like the Portland Trail Blazers, who didn't panic. Remember, the Blazers lost in the first round 2 straight years, kept the same core intact, made it to the Western Conference Finals this year. So for the Thunder not to give it another opportunity, that was a little head scratching that you could trade 2 top-tier players in less than a week when this entire season we almost waited for Anthony Davis to get traded. It was really mind-boggling how this went down so fast.
I somewhat disagree with you there in this respect, Jalen. A star that is Paul George, who just finished averaging 28 and 8, has his representatives come into your office and ask to be moved. So if he wants out, right, then, okay, all right, we can't have him here because he says he wants out. We could have him, but that's not good for our culture. So we're going to let him go, okay? We get 5 first-round picks along with 2 players in Danilo Gallinari and obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Then you've got a guy in Russell Westbrook who obviously would compromise the growth and maturation of a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander if he was on that squad because you want him to be your point guard. But more importantly, Russell Westbrook has been there for 11 years. He's committed to the organization. He's been there for you. And now he's saying to you, excuse me, you're clearly rebuilding. We don't have a chance to compete for the championship. I might want out. So I'm not going to fault Sam Presti for that. What I will say is this. At the end of the day, Sam Presti deserves our respect because of the job that he's shown he is capable of doing. But when it comes to players, what are we going to ask, Charlie? What are we going to ask, Jalen? Where's the chip? And I'm saying with Sam Presti, what executive do you know in the history of sports who has had that level of talent at his disposal and does not have one single championship to show for it? I'm telling you, take your time. I will wait because I don't know of any executive that has had that much time at that much talent at their disposal and does not have one single championship to show for it in a decade. I don't know of that. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app.
Or double team.
Harden with the step back 3. He actually led the NBA in step back. Harden for 3. Gets it to fall.
Quiz time, Mark Jones.
Go ahead.
Out of there with it for the Thunder. Westbrook down the lane for the throwdown.
As Harden makes a 3.
The veteran Rondo starting at the point guard is James Harden. A long three-pointer. Harden gets a little room. And this
Brian Davis and Brent Long with the call.
Without Serge Ibaka. Here's Westbrook. Oh, with a vicious slam in the face of...
nails the three-pointer. Steps back. Open 3. Got it. James Harden steps back. Puts up a 3.
Westbrook, 100 miles an hour, throws it down. Boy, give him a little momentum and look out below.
Thompson throws it away. Durant running to the rim. Oh!